Welcome back, everybody. Today we're going to be talking about generations. Am I a millennial or a Gen Z? I think I'm a Gen Z. And
When were
there's
you born?
1999. I almost said 2000.
Generation Z. That's when you're. Oh no, 97 to 2012 is Gen Z, and then Gen Alpha is 2013 to 2024. Beta is 25 on.
Oh, interesting.
Uh, uh, wow, that's really weird. There's Gen X, which is from 65 to the Millennials, which is 80 to 96, and then Boomers, which is me. No, yeah, is 46 to 64.
Interesting.
And then they're talking about splitting that and making us something else. And then there's the silent generation is from 28 to 45. And then there is my father and my mother is the greatest generation, and they fought in World War II and all that. And then she went through the Depression. She's born in 26. He was born in 1919. And then they have before that the Lost Generation fought in World War One. That would be my grandfather, and then the missionary generation. They're all the people that were tortured with religion. No, I'm sorry, that's the missionary generation.
What do you think is a category of baby boomers? Do they ruin the world, do you think? Do you think you ruined the world? Do you think you took
Mm.
advantage of it and you
I
messed it
think
up for
that
everybody else?
I'm sad that in many cases, I don't know if it's just in the U.S. and we're only going to compare the U.S. We can't compare the rest of the world. This is the first year, or yeah, last year was the first year that life expectancy went down. Okay, so
Wow.
that in itself that's a failure on our part. Our health is getting worse. So, we're handing obesity to you, but you can take it away if you take a drug, and it's like maybe we should figure out a way to stop you from getting obese as opposed to, you know what I mean?
Well, I don't understand why you go to all these different countries, and the chemicals that we put in our food are illegal in those countries. I think that's crazy. I think that
Well,
that's really interesting.
it's part that, but it's like the number one chemical we put in a food is not illegal in any of those countries.
High fructose corn syrup?
Right. You can use it in any country you want.
Really?
It's
Is
it's
that
it's
true?
subsidized. It's subsidized here. We subsidize it heavily to keep our farmers happy, okay? Because corn is really easy to grow, and so and we can place it in the commodity markets. We can keep all the farmers happy because they grow a bunch of stuff. They export tons of it, so that's the reason. And then we even forced people to turn it into gas, you know?
That's actually
Uh,
not completely true. Ireland, India, Sweden, and Austria, it's banned.
really?
Interesting. Yeah,
Really?
surprisingly. But at the same
Those are
time,
all the fat countries.
that makes me think of wow, I forgot what I was gonna say. Never mind. Yeah, continue.
Well, see, I don't think obesity is there's one reason. I think it's societal. I think it's, we have
Access to
everything in the
food,
I'm sorry.
access to clean food. I mean, there's a reason why
Right.
water's more expensive than Coca-Cola, you know?
Right.
I
Right.
mean,
I mean that's it. We were talking about generations, and I think that's very clear that we have handed you a less healthy generation. Less healthy. I think people are less healthy today than they were 20 years ago, and that to me is sad.
well, what is the food too? It's like a fifth as nutritious as food was in 1930 or something. It's
Yeah.
crazy. It's something like that because of all the GMOs. Oh, I
Yeah.
remember what I was going to say. Oh, it's funny about corn in this country too, that 75% of it's grown for ethanol. Isn't that wild? 75% of corn crops in the US are grown for ethanol. I think that that's pretty wild. Shout out to ethanol.
I don't
But
know. I mean,
Gen Z, though, I don't know. There's a lot of stipulations about problems that we have. A lack of attention and this, that, or the other. But I can't imagine. You see the kids with iPads at the
yeah.
airport. It seems like parents are worse now than they've ever been
Well,
because
see,
you have tools in air quotations to kind of distract your kid from the real world. I can't imagine
okay, you were antsy in
derealization.
an airport 30 years ago. I just slapped you. Okay.
Exactly. I missed
And
that.
the neighbor would just slap you. And then you would feel pain and you would have fear and you would, do what you do. Now I hand you this little toy that grabs your mind. And in theory, if you follow some of it, it actually teaches you a lot of things. But if you don't follow the rules, you can go look at, Pornhub.
They're
So,
very rarely not using it for educational purposes. I've
right.
seen
They're
movies.
playing a game.
Movies or games generally.
Yeah.
Remember
Playing a
the
game.
whole thing? Remember the spelling thing that I had to do that mom put me on one year in third
Yeah.
grade or second grade, and you had to go around like the universe or something, and
Hmm.
it was these individual spelling games. I still remember that so
Yeah.
clearly. But yeah, things like that. Games aren't the way they used to be either. Do you remember Pajama Sam? Pajama Sam was a great one. It was a puzzle finder, and you
Hmm.
had to locate different tools to unlock things within the game. I could never figure it out because I was
Oh, yeah. I
intellect when I
remember
was a
that.
child. But yeah, Pajama
Yeah.
Sam. Shout out to Pajama Sam. That
Hmm.
was a great time. But yeah, no, I don't know. Gen
Do you
Z,
like the winds blowing through my hair? Is that?
that is kind of nice. You're at the beach.
Yeah.
You're at the beach and you're here at the
Yeah,
beach.
I'm using a different background. I'm trying this. If anybody likes it, speak up. If you don't like it, well, fuck off. I'll find another one.
We need more hate mail too. We're
this,
not getting nearly enough hate
this
mail.
is and this is how we increase our users is we try different things, and if you don't like them, we just tell you to piss off, and then we do it ourselves, and we change it anyway.
Yep,
So that's what we're gonna
exactly.
do, right?
That's what we're gonna do. But Gen
Yeah.
Z, yeah, I don't. I've been told that Gen Z is lazy and that they're not willing to work, but it's hard to want to work for a world that doesn't want to exist. I don't know. It's hard to want to go to work for somebody. And as Noam Chomsky says, the master and slave dynamic in the capitalistic kind of routine of America is exhausting.
Well,
It really
it's
is, and
it's
it's hard to
it's
do that.
truly it's truly changed. Okay, when I first started getting jobs, there was a loyalty factor that you went to somebody, work for somebody, and you work for 20 years or 25 years, and you got a pension, and that would be defined benefit as opposed to a defined contribution. And what that means is a defined benefit means you get paid a set amount of money when you after you work there for 30 years, you will get paid 5,000 a month or whatever number it was. You would know that you could survive on that. And you would be retired, so you would have saved money along the way, and that would have given, and that's defined benefit. All those plans dried up in the 80s. They dried up when Wall Street decided that they could take that pension money and buy companies and take them private and own them and use the pensioners' money. And then a lot of those pensions failed because, and basically all they did was they reworked they reworked uh, uh, the interest rate on the return rate on the money. See, they had saved, like, say, for instance, I had $1 million that was going to pay my workers in 10 years, and the interest rate that it was going to earn over time. I have 1 million today, and it's going to be 30 million in 10 years. It's going to earn 5% a year. And I'm gauging it to, I'm saying it's going to be 5% a year because that's what the average that the market's been doing for the last 15 years. Well, people came in and they took the company and they said, no, it's going to do 10%. So the pensions were underfunded, so they wouldn't have enough money to pay off the people, and then they'd go bankrupt, and then there's insurance. I mean, there's just all sorts of horrible things, that part of the wipeout. And that's when they came up with the 401k, which is your defined benefit. I mean, your defined contribution, where you put in money, and the idea that in the future somehow you will have saved enough that will make you able to survive and live. And
Well,
and
what do you
companies were
think though?
loyal, but today it's like they'll fire you in an hour.
Do you think that
They'll
they're
fire
lazy?
you.
Well, also the
Do I think
required
people are
standards.
any more lazy than they were when I was? Uh, you and I, we're in a different economic class. So when I think about you, I don't want to say lazy. I want to say you had a different opportunity. I was not. If you were middle class, you would have gotten a job in high school. Okay.
I did get a job in high school.
Oh yeah, that's right. You did. Okay, you did.
Yeah, McLean Hardware.
Oh yeah, that's right. You did.
Yeah, I
You worked
worked there
there.
for 3 years, 2 years,
I forgot.
2 or 3 years.
Okay,
Yeah.
so maybe you would have gotten a job in middle school. So, but a lot of people didn't have the same amount of I guess my train of thought is just kind of fucked there on that, because you're right. You did work during high school.
Well,
I
I'll tell
completely
you.
forgot that.
Well, I'll tell you something that I've noticed is the barrier for entry level jobs is insane now.
Mhm.
Working a retail job, you need to go through 2 or 3 interviews, which is absurd.
That's stupid.
To hawk somebody's product that they made in China for 4 cents. I don't
Yeah.
understand. Why do I need 5 years of retail experience to sell something? I don't
Yeah.
think I do,
It's
especially for a
silly.
non-luxury brand, which is
Right.
ridiculous. I find that
Yeah.
to be incredulous, especially for entry-level positions for higher level analyst things, like, I don't know, working at a sales position at a certain legal company or things like that.
Hmm.
You need 5 years of experience, but where are you supposed to get the experience from? I don't know. You're supposed to make it up and you're supposed to lie. That's what I did. That's what I did to get my job is I lied, and it helped a lot. I'm not gonna lie.
You
It
know,
certainly.
in 30 years, somebody's going to pull this up and they're going to say, see, he lied. And they're going to use that
Exactly.
against you.
Well, I think that people should lie more on their resumes because you're competing with other people that are also lying. So, I mean, it's really
Well, if
who can.
everybody lies, then it's okay, right?
Everybody is lying currently on the resumes that are my
Hmm.
age. I swear
Yeah.
they are. They're stretching the truth, and it's
Yeah.
because people won't respect them. And it's
Well,
almost
we
as if
stretch the truth too. I mean, when my resume, my first resume, I had a 3.4 GPA and my concentration, and I picked the classes that were in my concentration. Okay.
that's funny. Do they
See,
look for
so it
GPA
really
where you
was
first worked?
3.4, and I could show you the classes and add up to that, but I didn't put in international finance because mine was business finance, not international finance. So that was outside of it. And I really fucked up on it. I got like a D or a B. I got a C. And that would have really pulled it down. So I did things like that. And you could say, well, yeah, you're right. But did that really matter? Did whether or not I got 3.4 or 3.2 or 6.8 or whatever the hell? I mean, nowadays I hear people, yeah, they're going in, they got a 4.2. And I'm going like, well, the 4 is perfect. How's they get higher than that? They did extra credit. Like, so you're better than 100%. That's weird.
It is odd.
You
But
know?
at the same time, too, I see people that graduate from school that have close to a 4.0 and
Yeah.
they can't get a job because it's kind of interesting that school taught me as an English literature major, write a 20-page paper. Write a 20-page paper. I had to write 6 to 7 20-page papers a semester. And
Hmm.
what I found when I got out of school is nobody wants to read that much. Everybody wants everything condensed. So why are you teaching me to write so long when in fact it doesn't matter at all? And I think that that's kind of an interesting thing as
And that
well.
was that. Well, you went to a shitty school. I mean, you went to UVA. So, I mean,
Public Ivy, not even an Ivy. I would say that I'm a
yeah,
loser. I would just
yeah, loser.
take my socks off, put them over my ears, look like an elephant. That's what
You
I
only
do.
wish you could have got into ODU.
I really wish I
You
could.
you
Right,
would have got in if you'd applied.
I would have gone there if they still had the monorail, but they got rid of the monorail.
How
So what are you
stupid
gonna
was
do?
that? That was the best thing in the world.
The monorail was probably the best thing at ODU. You know what
Came
also
along
is
after
down
me.
there? Busch Gardens. Busch Gardens is a fantastic place that I've actually never been to, but maybe one
Really?
day. There's a Busch Gardens in Tampa. Did you know that?
Really?
I thought it was a Virginia Beach thing and that was it, but
No.
it's not.
You know what Busch Gardens is?
It's a theme park.
Where did it come from?
Tampa? I don't know.
No. Who invented it? Who owns it?
No way. George Bush?
No. Go a little further.
Bush beer.
Anheuser-Busch.
Really?
They used to, when
That's
we went to,
crazy.
the first time I went to Busch Gardens, I went with my mother. I was like 9 years old. My sister was 11. And they had the brewery, the Busch Brewery. You could do a tour of it if you bought tickets into Busch Gardens. And we went to the brewery, and I think you can still do it. And at that time, there was not a limit on the number of beers that they could serve you. But they didn't serve me. I was only 9. Those cheap bastards.
That's
Anyway,
upsetting.
my mother, who did not drink at all, went in and had as she called it, a Michelob,
That's funny.
and she had 2 of them, and she came out, and we were waiting out front because we couldn't go in because they didn't have anybody under 18 in the bar. She goes in there and goes, I'm just going to have one beer. You go, and you guys got to use the restroom. She sent us to the restroom by yourselves, and which is different, I guess, than the way that we coddle kids today. But we went, we peed, we come out, and she comes out and she's hammered. And she walks over and she sits on, I gotta pee, and she gets up, and the ladies' line is, out and around the corner, and Leslie's near the front. And she walks up and she looks at it and she goes, I ain't waiting in that. And she walks in the men's room, goes in, gets in a stall, pees, and comes out and goes like, you're in a stall. Who cares? I was just like,
It's fair.
that was
I
a
do
long
think
time. That would have been 19, probably in the 70s,
wow.
early 70s.
Don't you think restrooms, gender neutral entirely, men and
Just, yeah,
women restrooms would just
yeah,
save the
that's
world a
fine.
lot of time? I don't understand. We're all doing the same thing in there. It doesn't
It
matter.
might make us closer as well.
I would also
But
like
I think
more
that there's
more
a certain amount of,
stalls. I want
well,
more
there's going to be a
stalls.
certain amount of creepy if you go into a stall and
That is a
people
good
are in
point.
there listening to it. Because I mean, when it all comes down to it, we're all just, I mean, are we fuck monsters or just perverts or
Kind of,
whatever?
yeah. Everybody's a
Yeah,
pervert.
it's some particular thing. There's,
Well,
you're
there's
going to
the
have
rug
men
guy.
in there audio taping and videotaping, audio taping people urinating, and
But you hear about
you know,
the rug guy, the two rug guys in New York?
no.
They roll themselves
Oh,
up in a
the re-
rug
I thought they
and
were
then
real
they like
estate.
to get stepped on. No,
What?
no. They roll themselves up in a rug. They sit in Manhattan on a sidewalk and people step
Ugh.
on them. Yeah.
That is
Isn't that
okay.
bizarre? Isn't that crazy?
I
I don't
guess.
get that at all.
Yeah.
But
But hey, whatever turns you
different
on, I don't care.
strokes for different
If you're
folks.
not hurting anyone, you know,
Well, you could
that's not.
argue that a lot of things don't hurt people, but they kind of are weird. So I don't know.
Oh, weird. That. Oh, I don't. I wasn't saying it wasn't weird. I think it's
Yeah.
weird, but it doesn't. It's not enough for me to go to the Senate and the House and write a new rule on it.
But that's
It
taking advantage of the public thoroughfare. I don't know. I'm a big
okay, yeah. If you did that and
defender
you
of the
set it down
public
like that,
thoroughfare. That's an inevitable thing that you are kind of forced to do. And I
yeah,
would say that I'm against that, I would say that
yeah,
that is
yeah.
wrong, but I wouldn't personally care at all, but I don't know, maybe some other people would care.
Well, if you had to go pee pee, that would be a great place.
That'd be funny. People step on
Yeah,
his head on purpose. He gets mad. Yeah,
yeah.
I've heard that. Yeah. No, I've heard that a lot.
Well, I would. Yeah, I'd be like, no,
Do you ever go
you're
to
taking
sleep at night and you think about M&M World in New York, the three-story M&M building? I think about that sometimes when I go to sleep at night.
all those things. It's crazy
There's three-story M&M building. Why? It's crazy. It's awesome.
because we're not fat enough.
But then you got the 30 Rock. It's funny. The I think was it Warner Brothers or something, and it's the smallest gift shop you've ever seen. And
Yeah,
it's not three stories. That's just a small little Warner Brothers gift
weird.
shop or NBC. NBC
NBC,
too.
yeah,
Sorry about that. But yeah, and that's
because we
not
would
three
go there and
stories.
see the Christmas tree. Remember the Christmas tree
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
square, and it was right behind the skating rink, right?
Yep, I remember that.
And then if you look at that Christmas tree, the very tippy top of it, they usually were like 10 or 12 stories. There is a firm that was in that building called Cadwalader with Wickersham and Taft. And then on the 44th floor of that building, that was their library. And we would roll the window up and hang outside looking down at the top of that Christmas tree. I
That's
had
pretty cool.
a buddy of mine that worked there, and Don and Mr. M.
Don Julio.
Great. He worked at Cravath and then he worked there. Just really, really smart, easygoing, kind of hippie-ish guy. Uh, and I remember him going there saying, "You got to see this. You got to see this." And he goes over, and those buildings are so old. The windows they're slide up and down like this, like
Oh,
you
there's no
do this.
guards. Yeah.
Yeah, they're up and down, and he pulls it up, and he leans out, and he puts his thighs against the window seal, and just goes out. And I'm just like, I'm for those who don't know, I am deathly afraid of heights, and I almost peed in my pants just seeing it happen. Was just like rattling me because
Yeah, there was times I
that's
saw
what happens when
you.
you see a lot of heights and stuff like that. And it's
Mount
like,
Blanc, I remember that you would not go near the edge, even though it
no,
was like up chest high,
yeah,
and you were like, "Nope, not doing that. I'm not
no,
doing that." And you
no,
know
not at
what?
all.
People are always like, "Oh, I can't believe people are afraid." I'm like, that's a very natural fear. I feel like I don't know.
I feel like I'm getting pulled over the side.
I feel that way somewhat, but I think my fear center is a little less than a lot of people because I
Hmm.
went rock climbing today, and we're about 25 feet off the ground, no rope, and it's not. I'm like, I don't really care. Like, I don't know. Yeah,
Hmm.
you know that you have the strength to get up and down. That was
Really?
the problem too, is we had to down climb. When you get to the top, you have to climb back down. You can't
Oh,
just top out and then because it's funny because it's 25-foot rock, but all the sides are hard to get down. So you can't
oh,
really go up, stand up there, and then like find an easier way down because it's the easiest way down is the way you went up. It was funny. But no, I
Wow.
think Gen Z, I wouldn't say that we're lazy. I wouldn't say that. I think that we're disenchanted with the world that has been bestowed upon us. And
Do
we're
you think that,
disenchanted with the corporate industries like BlackRock that own 75 to 80% of Los Angeles housing. I think we're disenchanted with that, you know? I think
and
we're
they're restricting
disenchanted with
housing?
a lot of
We
that.
don't want more
Exactly.
houses built. You know why?
Why?
Well, what happens if you have more supply?
More demand.
Price goes down,
Uh, Interesting.
right? If you can control supply and you have a fixed demand and you if you have a fixed demand and you shut down the supply, guess what happens? The price goes up. It's a great way to get a return. You know,
Gosh, it's sad. And now they own
it's
the Suez Canal. That's great. Or not the Suez
yeah,
Canal, the whatever it is. Is it the
Panama,
Suez? There we go. Panama
Panama.
Canal.
That's what they own.
You know what's
Yeah,
funny? Suez Canal is a Battlefield 1 map that I played for years. I played Battlefield 1 for about 5 to 6 years.
really.
And there's a map on that, one of the best maps, in my opinion, called Suez Canal. That is the best game, one of the best games ever made. Oh my gosh.
Really.
Incredible. From campaign to online. Battlefield
Wasn't
1.
that funny that you grew up with what would you call that? First or second generation? Probably second generation. I mean, I started to see like Pong and race car driving, just a little bit of crappy race car driving,
Duck Hunt.
and duck hunt and stuff like that. And my senior year of high school, okay, very little, a little bit of Pong, and then and then college, well, late high school was Pac Man,
That
you
must have
know,
been fun.
and then asteroids was a big one.
Do you remember when we would go to Z Pizza in Great Falls and
Yeah,
play Pac-Man? You remember that?
yeah, yep.
Great. You remember that? That's great.
No, I don't
You,
remember that at
you
all.
don't remember that? The pizza was so good. It was so good. Z
Z
Pizza.
Pizza in Great Falls. You sure that was me?
And there's a Pac-Man there. Yeah.
I think
No,
that's your other dad.
it was my
That's your
other
other
dad.
dad. Yeah, that's your
No, but
other
we
dad.
used to go there in 2008 and
Really?
play, and I was so bad at Pac-Man. And I never
Oh,
understood how people got good at it because I was 8 and stupid.
where were you? Where were you? Where was Z Pizza? Help me.
Z Pizza. All right, so you're going into Great Falls, right? You know where the tavern is. You remember that?
Yeah,
That's now LTO's on the left.
yeah,
Keep going
yep,
straight, and then there's that Mediterranean bakery in that
yep.
strip mall, and then on the left there's the what is that? The sandwich place, the Italian place. Z
Hmm.
Pizza was in that strip mall on the right, near the
Oh,
Mediterranean place where we would get the honey ball thing.
oh.
That
Okay, gotcha.
that
Okay,
pizza
now I
was
remember.
so
Yep,
good. Oh
that's
my
it.
gosh.
And then
Yeah,
we go in next door.
I
Yeah,
swear I inherited some aspects of your father's memory because I
yeah.
will talk about things like I was talking to Saad about a year ago. I was like, you
Hmm.
remember that time that you did that Benjamin Franklin uh, presentation in sixth grade, and then you wrote a poem about how you were friends with Benjamin Franklin? He's like, how do you remember that? I don't even remember writing that. And I'm like, I don't know. I still
Hmm.
do. I still remember that
Yeah,
elephant memory.
yeah.
Elephant memory. Feed them
Well, that's it.
pineapples.
I mean, that's great for tests and stuff like that. The thing is, can you, can you take it and then change it and formulate different things with it on what you memorized?
Oh, you
You
mean
know?
like apple pie?
Yes,
Yeah.
apply.
I would say that I was always somewhat of a good test taker. SATs though, not very good.
Really?
ACT I did okay on, if I remember
I
correctly.
think you did better. Did you do better than me on SATs?
I don't even remember
Of
what I
course, I
got.
was still drunk when I went. So,
Well, you get a 650 for just writing your name down. I remember
okay.
that, and it's out of 1600. So I think I was like, it was not great. It was like
I got a 1040.
12. It was like a 1250 or something. Maybe it was an 1150.
That's
It
amazing.
was something like that. It was not great, but I also had private tutor, which makes
Yeah,
all the difference in the world because it's not
right.
the knowledge that you apply to the test, it's how you take it. Because
Right.
it's
Exactly.
not there's such a strategy to it. Like the
Yeah.
ACT. I remember I was training for the ACT and he was like, if you just read the graph like this on all the science questions, you can get them all right. And I'm like, how? Like, what? That's crazy.
If
So
you what?
interesting. If you read the graphs, because like for the ACT, there's a science section compared to the SAT, there's not. And
Mm,
on the ACT, in the science section, there's like, oh, if a rectangle like this is going down the slope like this, at this angle, what volume is this thing that it affects? And that sounds like a really difficult question, but if you read the question, there's always a number within the question that the answer is. It's crazy. And I was like,
Oh,
the way that he taught was really, really
wow.
well done
That's like cheating.
in a way, but you're not cheating at all. You're just taking the test correctly.
So basically it was a cue for rich white people.
Pretty well, that's what I think private standardized test taking is always going to do. And it's this no Child Left Behind thing is kind of crazy because you have these public schools that are underfunded and can't have high SAT scores because they're competing with these higher income people that have access to private tutors and are always going to be able to test higher. And then the
Yeah.
public school closes down and they establish a charter school when they have a raffle for the few left that can try to get in to the charter school that were at the old public school. And
Hmm.
then there you have it, a capitalistic entity in the education world, which I
Yeah.
think is a little absurd. And then you have all these underprivileged people that no longer have access to public education. And it's
Right.
crazy. And that's why we're
Yeah,
here.
but you got a $10,000 chit there, and I mean, that's the thing about public and private. Public, we have to accept everybody. Private, well, we can pick who we want.
The No Child Left Behind thing really destroyed a lot of
Yeah.
underprivileged community public schools. And I think
Yeah.
that's why, as well, you then start seeing these people that are in one county that have to go to a different county to go to school. And
Yeah.
then a lot of the times, people that are underprivileged don't have access to transportation, right?
Right.
And things like that. And it's a nightmare. It's a
So they go
nightmare.
sporadically.
Exactly. And they don't go
Well,
all the time, and then
remember
they
in your
eventually don't go at all.
class, you had the kid that was taking a taxi every day from
Maryland,
like yeah,
Gaithersburg.
no, he was over on Route 7, Bailey's Crossroads, and he was
Oh, was he
coming to
really?
McLean.
I
Yeah.
thought he was in because he told me that he lived in Maryland, Gaithersburg,
He
and I was
in
like,
a
"This
castle.
doesn't." No, no, he didn't say in a castle. He said that I live up there, and I was like, "Why?" But we're not in the district. I don't think he knew where he lived, which was interesting.
He was
'Cause
also a notorious liar.
oh, was he really?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
I mean,
Huh?
he said a lot of things about I don't, you would just really.
You're talking about
Yeah.
Zeke?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, really?
I think that's who it was. Yeah.
I didn't know about him.
Yeah. Yeah. No, he was more about, he was bragging about uh, uh, his family, his relatives, and things like that because he was
Oh,
very
interesting.
insecure in it.
Yeah, that's what happens. I mean,
You know,
you grow up and you try to be secure as a kid, and
well, he wants,
it's
if you
difficult.
come to somebody's house and it's a nice place, you're worried at, you feel uncomfortable.
What they might think of you. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Because they automatically must think less for you because you have less. And we have in this society, we've made money as being a product of being correct, right, and better.
Yeah, I think
If you
that's
have
wrong.
money, you are correct. If you have money, you're right. And if you have money, you're better. And that's just not, you know,
What is the
well, he's a
age old?
billionaire. And it's like, well, so
There's this age old thing about oh, I always ask my son how his job is doing or something, but I never ask him if he's happy. And that isn't
yeah,
that interesting? I don't know.
yeah.
It's really what we value. We looked at nature and we said, let's put a
So
dollar sign on
how's your
this.
job going?
It's going well. It's going good. It's going well.
I just want you to know that I'm happy.
Isn't that the truth?
Yeah.
Isn't that the truth?
And
But
you got to
yeah, I don't
find it. You
know.
got to find it yourself. That's it. That's it. That to me is the path to happiness starts with you taking a step toward it.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, it's exploration more than anything. Because a lot of people
Yeah.
are like, I don't know what I want to be. And I'm like, try 1,000 different things until you know what you want to
Right.
be. Reading one thing, reading is just what has changed my life forever.
You're amazing at
And
that.
and
Yeah.
that will continually change my life because I can compartmentalize my life better that way. I don't
Mhm.
know. And it's really helpful. Yeah.
I'm really jealous of that ability that you have to do that. You've like I I mean I would say that during my 20s I was very inquisitive and I wanted to learn. I was reading the classics because I thought the classics would make me smarter from when I was like 19 till about 26 or 28, somewhere in there. And then the whole business, life, family, all the stuff became more important than reading the novel. And I set the novels on the table and stopped. And
Well, that's not
eh,
entirely true because I remember you would read WEB, whatever his face was,
Web
and
Du Bois.
there we go. Yeah, on the John, and you
Yeah.
would read Tom Clancy. You'd read
Oh,
like
yeah, yeah,
eight
yeah.
eight
Okay, I take
hundred
that back.
page
Yeah.
books
Yeah, I
on the
did.
John for like 4 hours, and I'm like, how are
Yeah.
his legs not numb? I
Oh,
don't
they were
know.
numb. But the thing
Okay.
is that allowed me to get away from you and the screaming wife.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. See,
Sometimes
so
a man just got
that's why
just sitting
all
there.
men pick up fat books to go to the toilet because they're unhappy with their child and their wife,
You know, it's
right?
funny what my girlfriend was telling me about her father when
Yeah.
she was growing up. She's like, we used to call him Toilet Rider because he would
Hmm.
go into the bathroom at
Yeah.
for like I'm 3.5 hours, 4 hours.
Whoa.
Yeah, he would go in there, and I'm like, I think
Phew.
he's trying to escape the
Yeah.
the kids. You know, well, it's he's
Yeah.
also outnumbered because it's three women, one man.
Oh,
Not
wow. That'd
not
be
not that
crazy.
everything's a gender war, but yeah, that could be.
Toilet rider. Yes, it is.
Yeah, everything is a gender
Toilet
war, isn't it?
rider.
Yeah, Toilet Rider. They would call him that
I love
when
that.
she was like 8 or 9. Yeah, it was funny.
Well, I'm hitting toilet rider a lot. Always
Yeah.
have been.
No, yeah, you've always been in there for 5 times a day, a couple hours at
Yeah,
a
mine's
time.
more like quantity of times to visit as
Yeah,
opposed to
but it adds
time
up.
in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, people say, "Did you see your father a lot when you were growing up?" I say, "No, he was always gone." And they say, "Well, he was at work, right?" And I'm like, "No, he was always in the bathroom." Yeah.
He'd hit the crapper 6 times a day,
I just
you
never
know?
see him. It was like he was had a second job almost.
Yeah. Oh, that's it. Yeah.
Oh, isn't that true?
Well, I did spend a lot of time gone, but I mean, until I was until you went into first grade. Was it first grade? 2008.
Third, third.
Third grade?
I think
Something like
third is
that.
when you started coming to school.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think the difference in generations will be very telling of those who read and those who don't.
Yeah.
And I think that a lot of people can self-actualize better when they do read, and maybe that's why boomers were so able to pursue their dreams, other than a more stable economy and other than more opportunity, because it seems like there's an overriding of things that are too saturated now, too many occupations that are too saturated, and there's
Do
too
you
many people in the world, you know?
do you think that your attention spans are shorter?
Oh yeah, yeah, 100%. Yeah,
Yeah.
without a doubt. Like for reading, I took a pretty heavy break off because I read Infinite Jest last year, and then I only read like I think 15
Is that a
books
comedy?
that year. Surprisingly, not written by David Foster Wallace. And what is argued to be the best novel of the last 20 years. It is not. I don't
That the
understand
dude
any of it.
that saved Scotland?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And but
William
yeah, no,
Wallace.
I don't know about people that are going to be able to self-actualize and look at their lives and say, this is who I am and this is what I've become, when in fact all you do is look at other people's lives through a 2 inch
Right.
metal device.
You measure yourself against that.
That's why I deleted Instagram, is because I was self-comparing. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I haven't finished this movie yet. And I'm like, wait a minute, I'm 26 years old. I just need to exist. I just need to exist. You know, you just need to
Yeah.
exist and things will happen to you
Yeah,
as
but
long as
but
you put
but
right
the
feet in
thing
the
is,
right
Zach, is I
direction.
can't post it on Facebook until you finish it.
See,
Okay.
exactly, right? That's what I was coming to as well. Is like I was looking at other directors that were posting things that are around
Yeah.
my same age, and I'm like, wait, this project is way bigger than anything that they're doing. And yet, like it takes a long time. It takes a
You know
long
what I'm
time,
doing?
And you
You know
have
what
to
I'm
be okay with that. You have to be
right. Because
okay
people
with how
say,
long
well,
it
what's Zach
takes.
doing now?
Yeah.
Like as though, well, I did a documentary in 20 minutes and now I'm doing this. And I'm telling him, I said, you know what? You should go to ZHB Productions. Go to his website and you can
Yeah,
see
there
what
you go.
he's doing.
Go to the website.
That's it's a much better story than what I can say. Because I started realizing that I would go, oh, well, he's doing the documentary, he's doing this, and then it's like 100 hours of filming. Oh, well, it's done. It's like, no, no. Then they have to color, then they have to
Yeah.
translate, then they have to segregate, then they shave it down, then they edit it, then they edit again, then they make a story, and then they have a background, and it's like,
There's a reason
we,
why Tarantino takes 5 to 8 years to make a movie, you know? There's a
wow.
reason because he's also writer, director, and narrative, which is
Oh,
entirely different than what I did. I did a documentary, which is arguably easier
mhm.
because it doesn't require the planned shot list, or I guess it could require a shot list if you really
Mhm.
wanted it to. But it
Your next one
also
will.
requires a whole story, and it
Hmm.
requires an interesting story that will captivate people, which
Yeah.
is exceptionally difficult to do very well if you have a long-spanning career and a level that you need to perform at. I think that that's
Yeah.
incredibly difficult.
Crazy, isn't it?
It certainly is. It
Really
certainly
crazy.
is indeed. But I think people in my generation are aspiring to find an easier way out that doesn't involve working a job for 30 years. I
Yeah.
think that that's what they're
Well, you
trying
think it comes
trying to
down to
do.
the fact that, I mean, in my generation, it was like you got a job and you stayed for 20 years and you retired from it, or 30 years. I mean, in my neighborhood, the people that work, that most of the people there, one guy worked for the Park Service, one guy was a Navy guy, got 20 years in the Navy, retired, and then went to work for the prison system. And he got 22 years at the prison system and he retired there. So he got two retirements. Everybody was working the double dip, you know,
Hmm.
military or Park Service, and then government, get one government job and then get a pension and then get another one. And it was like, everything was that way. I mean, my brother, when he said he went into, and this is years ago, when he went to work for the Census Bureau, senseless, I'm not sure.
He called it the
Anyway,
Senseless Bureau, though,
yeah,
didn't he?
yeah. But I remember him saying that he said, I was a week into work and that's when I knew I had to leave. And it's like, what? And he goes, there were people there that had been there under a year and they were calculating what they would get paid when they retired in 31 years. They they were they were everything was about reaching 58 or 57, or this is the star. You are nothing until then. You will earn money and this is what you will do and you'll survive. But then you'll be free and you'll pay this fixed amount. And it's like, wow,
You know what
that's
happens a lot of the time too when you're not allowed to explore in your early 20s is
yeah.
that you just become this dissatisfied alcoholic and very bitter later on. And I've noticed
Yeah,
that.
I can identify with that. I'm still doing that.
But no, no, no. I
I'm very
just see a
bitter
lot of
and
people
I'm
that felt like their life was not lived out on their own terms. And I
yeah.
think that that is especially common in the US
Yeah.
because On Teaching, written by Mark Edmondson, was a wonderful book about how people in my generation too will not try 1,000 different things. They will try to find this one job that will kind of satisfy and check all those boxes so that they can then have a child or have a
Right.
child
You're
or
going to
be
pay me to
married.
eat. I got to eat, and I can get the best job I can that will allow me to eat. Or when I say eat, I mean pay for your house and all that kind of stuff like that. And then I'll have fun outside of that.
Exactly. And he goes into
That's not.
depth
Yeah.
about how he was a roadie. He basically did all the sound equipment for a hair band
Yeah.
for 5 years. He did another thing where he was a manager at an amusement park. He did another job where he worked as, I think, a gardener. And then he also went back and he's like, well, I think I want to be a professor. And he went back to UVA, where he graduated from about 15
Wow.
years later. And then he found what he wanted to do, which was write. And yeah, and now he's a published author, 70 something years old, and he publishes under Penguin Random House. I mean, that's a pretty big accomplishment.
Yeah, that's real.
Great book, Mark Edmondson, by Mark Edmondson On Teaching. I actually gave
Hmm.
Jeff that book, funny enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, really easy read. I actually have a book that he wrote to The Death of Sigmund Freud, and which was about Sigmund Freud's later life. I haven't cracked it yet, but I'm excited about
Wow.
that one. Yeah.
So, so the more you show me your intellect, the more disappointed I am.
Yeah, let me
'Cause-
keep talking about how smart I am because it's
Yeah.
really important. It's really important. That's all this
Oh, no,
is
you
a
think?
form of
I mean,
narcissism, right?
what did you say? What did I say you were? What generation again?
Gen Z.
Gen Z. And so, but Gen Z, it's now going to alpha, beta, whatever we're doing here.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
Yeah, that's like after you. And people are always hammering the Gen Z because that's you. You're in your mid 20s. So, I mean, I'm kind of the mind that since we have an extended life and we live to 80, that instead of retiring at 65, that and starting at 23 or 4 or starting your professional environment, why not start what you're really going to do when you find it at almost 30, cuz and then retire at 75.
It takes a lot of people a lot of exploring to find
Yeah.
what it is. And a lot of people are like, well, why am I not good at this automatically? And I'm like, it takes time to
Yeah.
hone your skills, especially if you're doing something that involves artistry. I think
Yeah.
that I often wonder, I'm like, why haven't I made the best thing in the world? And it's because it's new. It's because it's new,
Well,
right?
yeah.
Yeah. And it's like,
Well,
why
you're
don't I
finding
have all
your
these
way.
available opportunities? Well, it's like, I think about too, comparing like James Cameron. I mean, James Cameron didn't do a movie till he was 40. I think
Yeah.
Tarantino didn't do one till he was 35. And then another
Hmm.
person,
They probably
famous.
did a lot of movies before that. They just didn't share them with anybody.
Yeah, exactly. Well, a lot of shorts, probably, right?
Yeah.
Like a lot of
Or a
shorts.
lot of movies that you would never know or hear about because they were trash
Exactly. Yeah.
and they never got the script never got bought. No one funded them. Nothing happened.
Exactly.
You know. I mean, it's a rarity to be able to make a full length movie at your age. It just doesn't
It
happen.
is. No, it's a privilege,
It's
too.
just like
It is
for
a privilege.
me to be starting a company at 28 and to have it be successful in itself is 99.4% fail.
There's a
Like
lot of
90
luck
in the
involved.
95 or 90 in the first year, 95 in the first 98 in the first 5 years. So, very, very incredibly lucky.
No.
And
Yeah.
I ran across somebody that made me feel like I was the most brilliant guy in the world. And that's why I said, think it's sales.
There you
Because
go.
I said, and he was telling me that you were my mentor, blah, 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 and all this. And it's like, why in the world would you be looking at us, our company, what we did? And he said, you were the first guys in legal tech to bust 2 million. I'm like, what? And he goes, nobody. He said, every company started, they'd start out really fast and they grow to 2 million revenue and they peter out and they crash. And then somebody else would come along, copy their idea and go to 2 million. You guys like lap that 5 times and just kept going. And I was like,
Exactly.
because we never had a ceiling, you know?
Can we
Last company.
Who was this mentor that you're talking about?
It wasn't he just looked at me because he called me and asked me after I'd sold the business to come and talk to him. And it wasn't a competing business. And I went and sat down and talked with them about what they were doing and how they were doing it and looked at their stuff. And I do that today to anybody that calls me. I'm not a paid consultant. If you're starting up a business, I will talk to anyone about anything and I'll give you my opinion. And it's worth every penny you pay for it, nothing. But if the thing is that I generally look at a business and I want to know what you're selling, who you're going to sell it to, how you're going to sell it to them, how you're going to make a profit at it. And then I need you to give me a pitch where there's 3 reasons that they should buy your product. And one of them is not price. It's not that deep of a scenario. And I'm very, very direct with people. I don't sugarcoat things. I'm honest because I feel like if I deter you from starting a business that you're going to fail in, that I will save you huge heartache. And the other side is if you can clear all these hurdles and be wonderful, I'll be like, wow, you got it going. There's no hammer. There's no one sitting on the other side that you're selling to is gonna say, piss off. You're gonna succeed. I mean, those are the kind of things that I think that are good. And people talk about, oh, you give back, and I'm like, fuck it. I never took. I didn't take anything. I earned everything I got. I work with people. I have helped people. People have helped me, and I've been decent all the way through. I've never been a shitbag person, but I see that kind of stuff that now for me, it's like it's enjoyable to share my experiences with others in the hopes that they won't commit or have the same number of mistakes that I have because I have thousands and thousands and thousands of mistakes. And it would be nice to be able to tell someone, hey, when you're running out the door, when you're running out the sliding glass door, before you run into the door, you should open it. Okay? Just open the door.
Sometimes that
They're
needs
like,
to be told.
oh, okay. And they open the door and it's like, hey, you didn't smash your face in. I would consider that's a win, man. That's it. That's it. That's my satisfaction.
I think that
But as
there's
far as the
something that
mentor guy, uh,
Mhm.
I didn't I had no idea that was the thought until he told me, and I just ran into him the other day at one of these shows, and I was shocked that was the whole point of the admiration. But a lot of other people that I work with for years and years and years is because I'm not I'm not out to fuck people, and I'm very direct as I've always have been.
Good
So
business ethics.
and it's work, that's it. I mean, when you think about people you want to work with, it's like you got to have ethics. I got to like you. You gotta, and you can't be too curmudgeony and mean and assholey and all that. I can usually work around a lot of that because I'm such a flexible guy. But if you lie, you cheat, can't do that. It
Yeah.
doesn't work. I can't. Those are things I cannot forgive. Second, cannot work with. It just doesn't, because then trust to me has got to be absolute. Sorry, every time. Wow. So anyway, we were talking about hemorrhoids, right?
Yeah, that's exactly what we were talking about. That's what this episode is about today, actually.
It's about hemorrhoids.
No, I had a question. I can't remember what it
Yeah.
was now.
You're going to
Can't
ask me about the
remember
mentor.
what it was. I already did. I already asked
Yeah.
that. No, but it's gone. But yeah, no, I don't know. I'm happy with where the project is currently. It's bustling along. But generationally, I don't know. I think that people want to be their own boss. I think that Gen Z people want to be their own boss. And it's also funny too that like I think there's a statistic that it was like 72% of people now want to be influencers or something. But what people don't realize is that's a 24-hour a day job. It
Yeah.
really is because you got to post all the time
Yeah.
and you have to be willing to create content all the time. You have to be willing to monetize your life, which I think
Yeah.
is a very interesting concept that we haven't really seen before. Where the day that I wake up in the morning, I'm filming myself throughout
There was
my entire day.
there's a guy makes like 8 or 9 million a year, Indian, I think. I saw him on 60 Minutes, and he is one of those influencers in India. And he has 2 cars, and he lives in a house, his wife, and has 3 kids. And from the second that they get up to even going to bed at night, they have a camera in like when they're falling asleep. They didn't do sex or anything like that, but when they're falling asleep, they have a camera watching them fall asleep. And I'm just thinking to myself,
I don't know how I feel about that. Yeah.
yeah,
It's also something to be said for monetizing your children at a young age, which I think
yeah.
is wrong inherently.
Oh,
Because
agreed.
I really
Agreed.
respect the people that post that are famous that post pictures of their kids with their faces blotted out. Because
Yeah,
I mean, like, do you really want that kid to grow up in a world
right.
where they have been exposed since the time that they were 5 or
Yeah,
born, even, and then they are constantly kind of forced into this business that they
yeah.
never even asked to be in, you know?
No.
And I
Yeah.
think that's incredibly
They
detrimental
have
to
to break out of
adult
it
life,
or
you
not.
know?
And you see, like, it seems like so many run into horrible, horrible problems,
Yeah.
you know?
I mean, we were talking about Alf the other day. The kid from Alf died of cirrhosis, 53 years old in a Walmart parking lot in his car.
Wow.
And then the other guy, I mean, the dad
Hold it,
from Alf,
53
I think he was
and a
around
car.
53. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Cirrhosis, alcohol cirrhosis.
He was
The
homeless.
dad was outed at the crack den as
Yeah.
well. And I'm not sure what he died of, but I think he died in a pretty horrible way as well. And yeah, no, it's just that show is cursed. I don't know. It
Yeah.
seemed like that show was almost cursed. I don't know about the
Hmm.
mom though. I don't know how the mom did, but yeah,
Yeah.
no, really cursed show. Alf. Oh, what are you gonna do?
Well, it's because they're all Gen Zs,
I think that's so. I think that's so. But yeah,
except for
the
the really old
whole
people.
be your own boss thing is becoming more and more appealing to everybody. But what happens when we
It's
reach a
not.
point to where all the content has been made? I mean, because it's seeming so that like there's this kind of quote that people say no original experience because people talk about what they go through on a daily basis and they're like, oh no, I actually go through that as well, like on all the comments. And they say no original experience because it seems like a lot of things in life that are niche and that people go through are actually very well involved across the world, you know?
Right.
It's like your individual experience is actually blanketed across many other people's lives.
Right. Thousands and thousands, if not millions. You look at that all the time, you know.
Exactly.
I think that people that want to be their own bosses uh, underestimate the effort and time it is to do that to be successful. I think that they underestimate what you have to give. You know, people generally that become their own bosses don't give 40 hours a week and don't give and then get a pension at the end and the horrible thing is they don't get a raise. That's not how it works. And the four companies that I've been early stage involved in or at the beginning, uh, money was not discussed until we actually started to make it. So
Yeah.
you weren't going to make any. You were that wasn't, you know, and nobody said, "Hey, Zach, you got to work 40 hours a week or 50 hours a week or 60 hours." There was no discussion of how long the day would be because the answer would have been, "Well, when we're done." There was never, "Well, we're going to start and then we'll come back tomorrow." I was like, "No, it's when you're done." I mean, that's kind of that was the mentality all the way through. No one ever. I never got paid overtime for working Sunday mornings at 4:30. As funny as an Uber driver, I was talking to the guy and he goes, "Yeah, Sunday mornings from 4:30 to 9 are the busiest at Dulles." And I was like, "Wow, I didn't realize that." Because I used to always take off then. That's when I would go to shows. Was like then and Saturday morning, really early. So I'm working all weekend. So when you're your own boss, you're not really your own boss. I mean, all I did was remove one person from the equation up there who would have been called by the person that I was selling the product to yell at me for doing a shitty job in selling it. And now they just talk to me directly. So really, by being your own boss, you're cutting out, of course, the person who's telling you to be good to the customer, even though the customer's wrong. You're cutting out the person that's telling you to get rid of the customer because they're not financially well. You're 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 doing the thing. You're firing the people that will hurt your business if you don't let them go.
Cutting out the middleman.
Yeah, you're the one that's doing that. If you're okay with that, and that's I would say that for me the hardest thing was getting rid of mediocre good people. And when I say mediocre good, and you're like, what the hell does that mean? Mediocre at their job, but good personalities, actually good people. Our job was not something that they could do well. They need to go somewhere else. They need to find something. They need to find their right job. And those people, and they were happy and easy going. And you're just like, wow, that's the kind of hardest thing to do for me. It was, you know.
For sure.
I think about that as far as like influencers and stuff like that. You know, you're like, wow.
Well, then they're
Mm.
commanded by the brands that say do the what is it called? It's called HGC or UGC content style, which is kind of like the commercials that you see on Facebook or Instagram, where it's like,
Hmm.
here's me with my drink. Yeah, do drink this drink. It helps me run fast. And
Hmm.
they're, I mean, you're still commanded by a brand to do things. So I
So
guess
you're lying. Yeah.
you're not
Well,
entirely
I
your
mean,
own boss, right?
yeah, that's right. We sold our product, which is an online software product, and people would log into it and they liked it. And we sold directly to end users. So there was no redistribution. Never, I mean, we had marketing and stuff. No, never had redistribution, I don't think. But hey, I think about that. So anyway, as far as generationally, we're still talking. One of the things you can find from my generation is I can't keep on a subject more than 30 seconds. I have to jump from one to the other.
It seems like that
Uh,
kind of was bestowed upon me as well.
yeah, you're pretty ADHD as well. Uh, I think the difference that happened in my generation and your generation is it was beaten out of us, or it was managed out of us, or we had to figure out how to manage it, or we failed. Whereas we as parents turned to drugs because they worked. They changed you, but they're lifetime drugs, which is kind of like I'm in opposition to that. I don't think that children should be put on drugs. They
It's
should
crazy.
you need another way to but I never had someone that was so unruly and so crazy that nothing would stop them.
I
So
was talking to a woman the other day that she has been on Adderall for the last 20 years, and she says if I was not on Adderall, I can't function because she did
yeah,
take a year off,
yeah,
and it was hell because her ADHD is so profoundly terrible that she
yeah.
cannot function in society. She
You can't
cannot do it.
sleep. Yeah, you can't.
Yeah,
There's
she,
just
she
thousands
just
and thousands of
can't
things that.
do or complete tasks and on a daily
So
basis.
so maybe the best thing for me to say is to don't be judgmental. Everybody has a different story. Let them all live their life the way they wish to live, as long as it doesn't infringe or hurt me.
Well, you have a
You
part of
know.
this that I'm in agreement with, where it's I don't think you should be able to prescribe amphetamines to
Yeah.
children. I don't think that should be legal
You could, as long as you're giving
because,
me half.
but
That's all
why
I
are
was saying.
you prescribing amphetamines to children for acting like children? I don't get that.
Yeah.
I don't get why we're looking at a kid
Because it
who's
makes you more productive and it makes you easy to take care of in school. And it means that no one will be calling us every day that Zach is a bad person.
well, yeah, you also now don't. That is kind of funny. I think we talked about this before, where corporal
Yeah.
punishment, such as hitting your kids, is now seen in pill form. I think that that's
Right. Well, they
incredibly
didn't they didn't
interesting.
do that when I was a kid. Beating me for my ADHD wasn't the thing. They would nose in the corner, go stand in the corner, nose in a
Corporal
circle, go
punishment, yeah.
outside, go to go to the office. And but I did that every single day. Okay, until I learned how can I not get kicked out of class today?
Hmm.
How can I not get suspended from school today? How can I mean, I remember that in 10th grade, a guy wanted to start a fight with me. I've been suspended 4 times that year.
Hmm.
I was told that if I got the next time would be expulsion. It was an automatic expulsion. And the guy pushes me. And to this day, I wanted I I stopped. And that's like one of those epiphany moments that you look at sophomore year in high school. And I looked at the sky. I looked to the right and I'm looking and the guy's yelling at me and calling me a pussy and everything like that. And I just remember that I was like, if I do anything, my whole future has changed because I would have been expelled from high school at 10th grade. I would have probably got a job at a gas station.
And then you
You
went
wouldn't be
on
here. Mom
to
wouldn't be here. And
felonious
that's
bombing,
one of those moments
Yeah.
that I think about. I remembered it when we were talking about it. That was like, whoa, change a point, change a point. Wow.
Millions of doors a day open, millions
Yep.
of
But
doors.
who knows? I may have been a rock star if I'd gotten kicked out of school and been a great guitar player
That
and,
would have been cool.
whatever. We can always look to the bright side of things. But as far as generations, I think that every generation that's older always looks down on the next generation
Every
and
time.
they like to say that they're giving something better. I don't believe we're doing it. And I think there's proof that we're not. I think that we're giving you less longevity. We're not giving you more health care. We're making you we're making you fatter. We're making you weaker. I mean, we have not made you amazing. We made you
Yeah,
less
the
amazing than the
tools
last
given to
generation.
survive. Well, also a house in 1970 was a little cheaper
Yeah.
than, and it was also like you could actually work a job for a couple of years and afford a house.
Well, there's so many different
And
things that
now
we're doing bad.
the majority of the people I know will never buy a house.
Right.
Never. And that's just a matter of fact. I really think that we're going to see people flee this country in the
Yeah.
next couple of years, mainly because it's just not
Opportunity.
affordable,
Yeah.
And I think we're going to start
I
seeing
agree.
things like Ireland is offering stipends for people to come and live there. I think it's 500,000 euros. And it's
Wow.
like, yeah, that's crazy.
But they need you got to clean cattle farms.
It's like 500,000 euros over the course of 10 years or something like that. It's
Wow.
something like that. Yeah. And I don't know. That sounds pretty attractive to me.
Hmm.
Yeah. The Irish are
Maybe I
great.
should move there.
They're great people. I've been thinking about, I'm not even kidding. After we go to
Yeah.
acquisition, I think that that's going to be in the
I thought you were
cards.
gonna move to Mississippi and live with William Faulkner.
Oxford is really popular in my mind as well because John Grisham lived there.
Yeah.
and a handful of other very, very famous
It would seem to
artists.
me that you would want to go to a place and live there for at least a couple months before you decided that,
I would
just like
definitely
you're in LA.
rent a year or something.
Like you're at LA right now. You've been there for 3 years. You know what LA is.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's so funny when I first got here, I never thought that I'd understand it. It isn't. It's
Yeah.
interesting when something's new
Yeah.
in your life and you don't
Yeah.
know if you'll ever be able to grasp it.
But there's certain things about it that are amazing.
Oh yeah, I mean weather. Weather's
Yeah.
crazy. The baseline for food is incredible.
Yeah.
It's really hard to find bad restaurants. And then
Yeah.
I mean the sports. I mean you can go rock climbing in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Like that's great. Where can you
I
do
had the
that
person that told
year
me that I can
round?
go hiking some of the greatest views and scenes in the world in under an hour. I was like,
Well,
whoa.
I always tell myself this, I live where people vacation. I
Right.
do, and it's
Yeah.
incredible. And I definitely take it for granted. I definitely do,
Mhm.
without a doubt. I mean, how could you not? It's really, really nice. It is. It's
Yeah. I like going to
incredible.
the top of your building and looking at the Griffith Observatory.
Yeah,
That's my
I could walk there. Yeah. Well, it's like I
wow.
just went rock climbing today, and it took a
Yeah.
30-minute drive to go outdoor bouldering that I could go to year round. It's
Yeah.
crazy. I could take
You
a
of all people.
handful of classes that I want to and meet industry professionals. That's really why I moved here, I think, was to
Yeah.
one, become an actor, which I see that I'm getting more and more away from every year. But I really
Hmm.
found that making people feel seen through documentary filmmaking is really my cup of tea. Because I really had horrible stage fright that I was like, why am I doing this?
Hmm.
But it was weird too, because me and Brian did that play at UVA
Hmm.
and didn't really have stage fright then, you know? Maybe I didn't, I just don't remember.
When it clicks, it's amazing.
Well, we did 10 or 15 shows and I had what, like 15, 20 pages of dialogue.
Yeah.
And after the first show, you get it out of your system and then you can play with it. And then
Yeah.
it's fun, you know? But they
Hmm.
choreographed that thing way too much. They did too
Yeah.
much blocking where it was
Yeah.
like let the characters live in the environment. Don't block the entire scene because
Wow.
it looks robotic when you do that. You want
Yeah.
your characters to live in that world. You don't want to tell your characters how to live in that world.
Yeah.
And I think that that's an especially important lesson for theater directing and regular directing in general. I
Yeah.
think it really is.
Yep.
Yeah, but I think we're done here. I
Yeah. I
think
think
we're wrapped.
we've solved the Gen X, Gen Z,
We
Gen
did.
Q,
We ended
and
the
the
rivalry.
OBJs.
It's done.
That's
Well,
it.
thank you so much. Go check out our reels. We've been remarkably consistent on the
This
marketing
is
this
episode
year.
150, and the one thing I want to know
Oh,
is what do you
wow,
think
it
of my
is. It is
background?
150. You're
What do you
right.
think of my background? I gotta know, man.
I
I'm
think
trying
it's
a new
great.
background.
I think it's phenomenal. I
I'll
think that
try another
it's
one next
10
week.
out of 10. Well, happy
Okay.
episode 150. Let's go 150 more. You better not die. I'm going to have to do this
Yeah.
by myself. All right.
All
See you
right.
later,
Party
guys.
on.